Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered Naked Truth, when we tell you everything 100% real. We decided to not use any bad words because we don't want to get a shadow banded again, but we're doing okay. But today, on this episode, we're going to talk about business partnership. I went through it. It's painful. It's like a divorce. It's nasty, but we're going to deep get into it and talk about that. And Andy, you had some experiences with that, right?
Absolutely. Thank you. We're going to try not to use bad words. And that's because we go to the YouTube channel and I sound like I'm 75 years old. What the hell? YouTube.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to stay off the bottom of the shadow ban list and bring you real content with that. But yes, I've seen it. It's interesting. We were having this conversation and partnerships, holy shit.
Is tough, really. A lot of people, we talk about it off camera earlier, and you said it's like marriage, and I totally...
it's worse than marriage.
Yeah, I totally agree. I was in one, actually two, and, it's end up divorcing, but, I think we bring it to ourselves. I'm not saying the partnership is bad. So many partners, but the foundation of it is important. How you're going to start it, and what are the expectations?
Oh, absolutely.
I think that's the key.
I think that is a major point of it right there is structure.
The structure.
Absolutely. Standards, operating. Like right now, we're in a great partnership. We talk about family partnerships, but all of the family members are also partners, right? So they're partners, my other business partner. It all works, right? We have it all laid out. We have things laid out in partnerships to help. We'll talk today, poison pills. Poison pills are very good for business, and we'll talk about operating agreements, and we'll talk, shares in a business and who has what vote and voting rights that go along with it, and how those things get mucked
How
up.
you going to structure the business, as you said?
Yeah, it's structure. It's, is it a 50-50? Look.
Is it LLC, S-Corp? What is it? Or
yeah, I leave that to tax people that are smarter than me. Attorneys, what are we going to lay?
Make sure you have an attorney or tax guy.
Hey, I tell everybody all the time, you need 2 A's, a B, and a C. An attorney, accountant, a good banker, and you need a coach in your business.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, I know. You think I come up with this stuff on my own?
No, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So when you look at businesses, the divorces, let's go for that first. Let's talk about the horrors that go into business partnership. Not all of them, but some. And I've had many friends that have been through divorces. I've seen it, I've witnessed it, but the worst breakups that I've ever seen usually comes from those partners that get into business together. They start out as friends, and then things get muddy, or relationships happen, or there's a remarriage, or I want to bring other partners in, or we don't have really solid bylaws, and we don't have operating agreements, and then shit just goes sideways. It just goes absolutely sideways, and then there's no recovery. And I've seen best friends don't speak to each other anymore. I've seen families destroyed.
The family business, right? That's tough.
It destroyed. I mean, so much, that one family member passes away, and then there's a valuation problem, and then they're trying to figure out who pays for what, and the family has an idea what the business is, and then it gets so ugly, and then when it's all settled, the family members that were sons and fathers and daughters and wives of the owner that passed away were fired. I mean, it gets ugly.
And it would affect a lot of people during that time.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. So my analogy with business partnerships is what we all went through in COVID. Think about this for a second. Shock and awe. Yeah. Shock and awe. Like, what? What's going on? Then we have, oh my God, it's not going to happen to us. It can't happen to us.
It's always like that.
Yeah. But then you're like, oh, it's like a 12-step program, right? Like 1 minute you're happy, next minute you're sad, you're scared, you're ambivalent, you're angry, you're lashing out, next minute you're depressed, and then we start the cycle. It's every day. And that's what we see in business partnerships. So Let's talk about your business partnerships. What was, if you looked at what started the not the problem, what was the issue or the barrier that started the shit, am I in business with the right person?
All this started, and let me tell you something. As you said, I'm so happy you mentioned that, but you start a business with a friend and you say, oh, we are friends, let's go to the business. And I got this idea, you got that idea, or I have this concept or this restaurant. Mine was a restaurant, and I went in there with my best friend and we still talk, we're still friends, but if I can go back, I would do it differently. Like we went 50%, and then he put money, I put money. It's a long story, but the thing is that when you go in the business with a friend, it's not going to be a friend anymore. It's going to be a business partner. And then when you don't have a solid foundation from the structure in it, we had accountability, but the bylaws, the operating agreement, and who does what, who calls the shot, all that stuff. When we are two people, when is it 3 people? Is it 2 to 1, 1 to 2? Is much easier. But when it's 2 people that go into business, those expectations. Who's going to run the operation? Who's going to run the finance? Who's going to oversee these? Who's going to oversee? But if you go in it and say, hey, it's going to be fine. We are best friend, man. We're going to do it together. Let's go make it happen. And when shit hit the fans, and, is ugly and it's just stressful. Mine wasn't that ugly, at all, but it was stressful because I was working my tail off. And he had a job, he was working his work so hard on his job and all that stuff, but it's hard, and it comes all back to why you want to do it.
Yeah.
Is it the money, or what is it? Can you go to the bank, eliminate the partnership, just go get a bank? Or the worst one, you have seen it, borrow from the friends and family to start a business. Holy.
Absolutely. There's a number of ways to look at it. You talk about the truth in this. So that's why I asked about what was the catalyst with it. We find that money is normally the catalyst for the beginning of the problems. It's based on
what?
Well, let's just take it from this start, okay? I don't give a shit what industry it's in. I have never seen a 50-50 partnership that ended well. Never. Somebody has to be in fucking charge.
Yes.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah.
Bleep.
Yeah.
But somebody has to be in charge. And somebody has to have the wherewithal, to have the leverage in the business to go, okay, here's your role, here's my role. Voting rights as board members are created equal. Okay, voting rights. But that doesn't mean day-to-day voting rights are the same.
Then you talking about the day-to-day operation if somebody's basically silent.
Yeah, but who in the business? Who's the CEO? Who's the chief financial officer? And if you're not big enough, okay, who does finance? Who runs the day-to-day? Who's the president? Is the board chair the same as the president? I mean, there's 1,000 different ways to look at it, but you have to have an operating agreement that says, well, like our operating agreement, okay? We are equal partners in the business. But guess what? 29 days a month, I am an employee of the business. 1 day a month, I am a board director, I am a board member, and I have equal voting rights. Those are board meetings. Every other day of the week, I do my job. And guess what? I can be fired for not doing my job. Now, people look and go, no, you can't do that. I own the business. No, this is where operating agreements come in. It has to be all agreed upon. So you have a 50-50 partnership, and let's say one partner is a silent partner, and you're
running the operation.
You're running all the operations. You're running all the finance. They have access to the books, and they want to come in and tell you how to do your job day to day.
That's the big challenge.
It is a big challenge because it's not acceptable, and that's where you have to have agreements. Like, this is the wrong place and the wrong time. Or those partners walk into the business on a day-to-day basis, like they don't work here, but they come in and tell your people, like, oh, hey, Wes, hey, Blake, you need to do this, this, and this because I'm standing here. No. These are all problems that go on. because they're
What are you
not.
telling expectations?
We call them standards now.
Standards.
Yeah, well, and the reason we don't use expectation is because a bunch of people got offended because it's a disciplinary word. So it's standard. What are the standards that Andy has to do his job for every day? Right? So one of my favorite things is when we have tenure in a business. Oh, I've been here for 30 years. And, who gives a shit? Nobody cares that you've been here for 30 years. You're doing shit like it's 1989, except for you're not using a rotary phone. You actually have a new phone. It's so amazing how people do that. Well, or I brought all the experience. Well,
Yeah, you hear that's a lot. And I'm sure you guys, you hear that's a lot too.
right. So we just got to figure out operationally, our team, our ownership, we're really good at difficult
How
conversations.
about this? You heard this before. They say, I'll put the money and I'll put the experience.
Yeah, that's never a win-win.
You heard that.
all
right?
the time.
Hey, I'll bring the experience to the table. Otherwise, you can't run this business. I have the experience. And the other guy says, hey, I got the money. I'll bring the money to the table. What is that situation look like?
It actually probably up front it's really great because the one guy's going, "Oh, great. I don't have to bring any money." But then you get 30, 45 days down the road, or you get a 90 days or 6 months or a year, and all of a sudden the person that put all the money in, they want ROI, which means they are entitled to profit. Right? Not operational money, profit. So now we start having conversations like, God, why are the books? We're barely breaking even. We got to make some money. Oh, it takes time. No. How does it make money? When's it going to make money? Because the person that puts all that money in, in this situation would be, you're doing all the work. You're working 80 hours a week. I gave all the money in, so I put in $100,000, right? So I want an ROI on that. So when it comes to 6 months or a year, at the end of the year, and let's say there's $10,000. And as a board member, I exercise my right to go, okay, I want a payment on principal. I want a dividend, right? Or I want a payout of some sort for me. The other person's like, well, why? You haven't done anything. No, I gave you all the collateral, right? So, and then that's one thing that happens. The next thing we see happen is like, so you do all the work. You work 80 hours a week, or you're working 60 hours a week. You're working 7 days a week. You're doing all of the work, right? You're whatever the business is, you're doing all of it. And every month there is a payback, a note that says the business must pay the business loan back. Well, we can just skip that payment. We don't need to make that payment because we're short on cash flow. Well, no. If one owner is not taking a paycheck and the other owner is taking a paycheck and a bill is owed, the bill gets paid, or the other owner doesn't get to take a paycheck.
Yeah, doesn't get a paycheck.
That's another thing that gets them going sideways.
Like 9/11 happened, in restaurant, I didn't get paid for a penny.
Oh.
I was operated. I said, I can't pay myself.
But you were brave enough to do that. So many people well, we've just been through it in both our businesses, right? People, they use us as the bank and trust. Oh, he's good. I don't need to pay him. No. Or you don't have to pay me. It's like, wait, time out. You paid yourself, right? Well, yeah, of course. I have to take care of my stuff. So what makes you think you can take your vendors and use them as the bank? But in today's society, they think, oh my God, what's the big deal?
It's nothing.
It's nothing. So we have to set up our business in a situation of, no, if you can't afford to pay your bills, which include your loan payments to a partner, your dividends are from profits, so that doesn't count. But that means you don't take a paycheck. And that's where things start going sideways. Well, God, I'm doing all the work here. Why should we pay the note back when, I'm doing all the work? Because that's business. That's business. Figure out a way to make profit.
And I think one of the big things that a lot of people they dismiss is the ignorant and the ego. Like, if you are an operator, you are good in operation, and you're not good in the financial, and your partner is good in financial, even though if he's not involved, just ask. Or, just go get help. Some people, they think they can do it all. Oh, I'm a business owner. I can do all of them. I can do financial. No, if you're weak, even your partner is not in there, or if you're with a partner. Usually you partner with somebody that's smarter than you.
Absolutely.
Like, me, I hate financial, but, I got to do it. I got accountant, I got you, and, helping other people that, they guide me, they coach me and everything else. Great operator, but, it is what it is.
And that's where you
have to be honest.
You have to play to your strengths.
Yeah.
So many times people hide partnerships. They hide
that there's something they're not good at it.
And they hide, they don't reconcile their books, or they start, we call it a leisure business or a checkbook business. Okay, I did it. I did it early on. I did it in 2 businesses. One business, we were straight 1099. We were a consulting firm. Every freaking expense we could put in that business, we did. And we just did it that way, right? Well, that doesn't give me a sellable asset. When you do that as a business partnership and you start taking out, let's say, phone bills is a great one, right? Phone bills, that matters, right? We all have phones. It doesn't show you an ROI, but it brings money back in, right? Because people are on the phone, we need to have them. Well, then other people will have boat payments. Use it for entertaining, or car payments within the business. People don't understand is, yes, there's some tax ramifications from it, and there's a lot of accountants out there. Go check with them. There's different ways to do it. In our business, we actually learned, and we had the cars in the business early on, and we pulled the cars out of the business, and we did it as, you're better off to take the mileage or do a lease back, where the business leases the car from the owner, and then the owner makes the money and the business pays the lease. But those types of things don't make the company any money. Yeah, they may look good on paper, but at the end of the day, business has to run. So that'll sour a partnership pretty quick, because when partners come in, they're like, well, what is all of this expense in the business? Because when you have a partnership, the books are open, right? You can't hide that stuff. But people try, and that's what leads to differences in opinions. Like, well, wait, why are we paying for all this stuff? And we just see it go sideways because one partner believes that it's their right to have everything paid for, and the other partners will look at it and go, no, this is a frivolous expense. No, I'd rather have the dividend. And that happens I see that all the time. Now, there's other businesses where they set up partnerships. Maybe it's a family business where everybody gets vehicles. Okay, that's a completely different monster. You got 15 vehicles, you got 15 people. Okay, now you have an accounting thing. But I'm talking about those people that, like, there's partners and, they start trying to run everything through that, whereas it's your expense, not the business expense. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so oh my gosh.
It gets very complicated.
It does, but that's where the operating agreement comes into play, right? Before you enter into a business relationship with a friend, a family member, this is where attorneys are really good, right? They work as mediators. Now, I believe I'm an expert in coaching. I am not an expert in my family dynamics. I may have made that mistake once or twice, but when we talk about family dynamics, the hardest thing is to know where to shut the bleep up, because that's when you have to have somebody there that's like, this is business. So operating agreement, the whole thing when I said, for me, I'm an owner one day a month, right?
The rest you're an employee.
I'm an employee. Same thing goes for our other employees, CEO, financial person, marketing person, nonprofit person, coach. All of these things are in the operating agreement. All the information's in there. And we all have positional contracts that go along with it. It says, I will do this, I will do this. These are my standards, expectations. If I don't hit these standards, expectations, what's a reasonable amount of time? The reasonable amount of time is, how long would you let an employee do this job and make this 6-figure income before you be like, dude, you got to produce, right? So there's that. That will send everything into a tailspin.
But right now, I know a lot of people right now, you're watching or listening, you think you have a great idea, you're going to go into business. Oh, let me reach out to my cousin, my dad, my brother, my sister. Before you do anything else, you really have to calculate that, first of all, why you're going to go into business with them. Can you replace them with somebody that you don't know, that, if something happens, you have more options. You don't want to hurt your family, your brother. It's hard.
It's very hard.
It's really hard when you get there. And it all goes back to why you want to do this.
I've seen so many family units destroyed by really bad partnerships.
The feeling is more than that. Success,
It's horrible.
If you look at it as cold, the family businesses or partnership, they fell a lot.
They do, but it's because of emotions. I mean, I'm sorry.
We make emotional decisions all day long.
Well, okay, so I was a 23, 22, 20. Look, I was a loudmouth kid. Okay, so a couple weeks ago, I was back in my hometown, Ransom's Bar, okay, with my dad. And my dad hadn't been in the bar in 40 years, which is super funny. We walked in the door. This is an old pool hall, and everybody at the bar knew my dad. Damn. He's 83. It's like, what the? So all these guys my dad hasn't seen, I'm like, you don't need coffee meetings. You need a bar meeting. So we sat there. We had a few beers, and we were talking, and we were talking about, he's like, you have no idea how many times I wanted to kill you in the family business. But I was that loudmouth, know-it-all, 20-something kid who thinks we have it all figured out. Okay, I wasn't a partner. The thing I didn't realize at that time that I know right now, my name wasn't on the marquee. My grandfather's name was there and my dad's name was there, right? They earned that spot. I didn't earn shit, but I had too big of an ego. We had a tit for tat. I left that business. That's on me. That's not on my dad. It's not on my aunt. It's on me. And so as I've grown through that, now their partnership went different directions, but I saw the stress of it because the other thing, when you have a family business partnership, when are board meetings?
Wow, yeah.
They're Thanksgiving,
Christmas,
New Year's, Valentine's Day, birthdays, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Easter, not necessarily in that order, but every day becomes a board meeting. And what it does is it draws a wedge because you know what the rule of thumb is, right? What opinions are?
What?
They're like assholes. Everybody has one. Everybody has an opinion and people take sides. And so other big reasons partnerships fails, zero flipping boundaries. Nobody has the brains, and I'm saying that, nobody has the brains to go, no, we're not talking about this stuff at grandma's house. We're not talking about this stuff at a birthday party. We're not talking about this stuff on a Friday night having a few beers. Business has to be conducted between partners in a business environment or shit gets blurred.
Yep, I agree with that.
So think about that. How many times did you go and have meetings out with your partners when you were trying to do something else, whether it was a child's birthday party or something else?
We always conducted in the business, like sitting at the bar, but in our business and talking or at the table because,
But you owned the bar.
Yeah. Yeah, that's...
Yeah, so that's a little bit different, right? You own the bar.
Yeah.
You guys own the bar, so you were sitting in the bar.
Yeah.
But it's the other sides, right? It's not having those clear expectation standards.
The boundaries, you just nailed it. The boundaries are so important, which is we all lacking.
Oh, we still lack them. I mean, I remember being 20-something. We talked about, I think, what is it, first episode, third, whatever it was, when I asked you, what would you go back and tell your 25-year-old self? I think I said I'd tell myself to shut the blank up.
Yep.
And listen. But partnerships, as you grow through them, I'll come back on point here. Partnerships, as we know today, are hard.
Very hard.
The hardest thing about a 50-50 partnership is giving somebody else control day to day and being okay with it.
And that comes with the trust. You got to trust your partner.
Okay, so what erodes trust in a partnership? Tell us that. You've had it.
Yeah, I think you have to build it, or you have to show that you're capable. Otherwise, you're going to go into business with somebody you don't trust.
Yeah, but what erodes that?
Knowing each other. You got to know. You got to know what you're capable of. Like I knew I'm capable of running a restaurant because I started from dishwasher, learned everything. I can operate with my closed eyes. Mm-hmm. But let me do the operation and the staff and customer service, all that stuff. just don't get me involved with the other bullshits like accounting, everything else. I generate, I put it there, I do my job. Everybody will walk out happy. That's my thing.
So it's really funny you say that. Like I'm really good at a lot of different jobs. I'm really good at finance. I am in our business fourth good compared to the rest of them. Like
Wow.
literally their skill set, because they're highly analytical. I am fourth as good, right? And I gladly don't want to do it because I love not looking at spreadsheets. I'll look at yours, I'll look at others, but I'm just not playing that game.
'Cause I could sell it like a $75 a bottle of wine or $200 a bottle of wine, easy. Not selling it, just talking to people, showing them, and all the most expensive wine. I was selling it, I was opening it at the table. And everybody would say, how did you do that? I said, that's what I'm good at it. But tell me, just sit down and analyze this or the P&L. I said, I understand it, everything else, but I wasn't into it. I had the best food costs and labor costs. I could control that, which comes from the operation, efficiency. If you don't have an efficient operation, you're not going to make it. But you got to stay in your lane.
That is a great
Really,
freaking
you
point.
really have to stay in your lane and don't get upset. Because I got upset many times. Why you tell me this? But he's right. You got to stay in your lane. You got to really do what you're good at it, and then shut the hell up.
But it's so hard for us.
It's hard,
especially us male egos. Whew, we have a hard time with that one. Staying in our lane and just shutting up when we
not
know
only
things.
in the business. I think it's in everything.
Oh, I agree
Marriage.
with you. Oh yeah.
Any things in regular conversation. If you heard that, if you don't know about it, don't talk about it.
Exactly, but we see that so much.
Some people, they don't say. They just say something. They don't even know what they're talking about.
So when you look at that, so let's talk about some other things that ruin partnership. Let's talk about that ruin the business from the partnership. So you had mentioned early on about going to the bank, and trying to buy your business partner out or something like that. So in our business, and we learned this from many others, so operationally, we all have roles. Operationally, we coach people that set up roles, positional agreements. And then in partnerships, we really, and I hate the term pecking order or management, but in the reality, you can't have three leaders in the business. There has to be some operational effectiveness with a president, a owner, who's doing finance, who's doing HR, who's doing IT. So many businesses, they wonder why they can't scale because the partnership has one person or two people doing 7 roles. And then they wonder why, like you just talked about, well, I'm fourth best at finance. You don't want to look at it normally. So, and if we partner together, we're screwed.
Yeah,
but
we have to find somebody like, okay,
yeah.
Hey, Andy, what are you going to do? You say, I understand. You want go taking care of it. Or you talk to the accountant.
Yeah. So but then you look at the other side of it. If we learn this, if your name is under more than one thing in the business, so if you take the 7 pillars in a partnership, it's CEO, then you have finance, HR, IT, sales, marketing, and operations. Okay, those are the pillars for all business, right? You have all of those pillars, and if your name is like in our roles, I do operations, which is for us, operation is broken into 2 tiers. I do the coaching side of it, managing that, but I also the sales side of it.
So you do sales.
Yep, and so then you look at other sides of it, but you have to have clear, concise who's doing what, and this isn't so much for the partnership. Some days it is, but it's for those other people that you hire in your team. They need to know where to go.
Yep.
And so we see that as a common theme where partnerships go sideways because you name somebody as president or CEO.
But they're not doing what they're supposed to do.
They're not doing it, or I'm not staying in my lane. And I say I a lot because I make mistakes. I've made these mistakes, but when I make those statements and do something wrong, it's keeping people in line and then not liking, like your CEO. You give me hey, Andy, I know this isn't on your list today, but this is a client just came in. We sold them this product. I need you to get this done. I need a draft by the end of the day. I know it's not your priorities, but I need you to get a draft. No, piss off, Rami. I got all these other stuff to do, and that's not on my priority list, and I wanted to do it. It's like, okay.
What is the collaboration?
Well, it's not collaboration. It's still doing what you need to do. It's like you were in the military, right? I mean, sometimes you have to do things you don't want to do.
Yeah.
In business, we have to know that person's not there to be malicious. That person's there trying to make sure the business survives. And so in partnerships, when somebody's not the CEO, they throw that, oh, I'm an owner. You can't talk to me like that. Well, that's an operational agreement, right? There's a problem right there. So we've got to make sure that we set the business up correctly and protect the asset. Protect the asset.
I'm sure you have seen it. Partners, their partner, the business is doing good. One of the partners goes to the divorce.
Ooh, good subject. Tell me more.
Yeah. One partner goes to the divorce, which happened to me. And then you come to the table and say, now what? And because she technically owns some of your assets, which it's diluted into the business.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard. It's very hard to get out of that or make a right decision, not getting lawyers. It's really hard. I faced that. It's hard. It's two ways. You lose the business or you get divorced.
So in today's society, some things that we talk about with people.
Wife goes after the business.
Oh, but it's all of those things. So think about this. Like in our operating agreement, there's a divorce clause. If one of us goes through a divorce, the other person, if they didn't sign for the business, now, yes, for asset-wise, they are entitled to whatever percentages, but they're not entitled to the shares of the business. So we have buy-sell agreements in our relationship. Now, for people that go out and get married, that's a prenup, people. I mean, protect yourself. I don't give a shit. Protect yourself. Jody and I have a prenup in our.
You serious?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We had it from a long time ago, but it's still in effect today. And it's about protecting assets that each person has. If you own a business, and I know I'm circling the wagon here for a second, but prenups take care of that. Buy-sell agreements take care of that. If I and my wife are to get a divorce, the business, if you get a divorce out of the business, there's a valuation clause that has to be done, and the company has first right to buy those shares immediately.
Basically, the first right of refusal is the company. And
that goes if I die. That goes if I get divorced. That goes if I, go do something stupid and sleep with somebody.
Well, we had a case that the husband dies, the wife stepped in for the operation of the business that she has no experience, and they didn't protect themselves as a business that, okay, if the husband dies, the wife cannot walk in. She can be like a shareholder, as you said, but goes back to set things up right.
Okay, so in that situation, I'm going to go deep here for a minute. There's a lot of ways to protect the asset.
Yep.
First and foremost, shame on the business owners for not having a buy-sell agreement. Shame on the business for not having a life insurance policy on the person who is running the business, because that life insurance policy does two things. And again, there's key man insurance and there's life insurance. So a life insurance policy in that instance would have protected the business, because they could have said, okay, so our business is worth X. The valuation comes back, it's Y. You as a partner in our business at this time is worth $3 million to the business. We as a business take out a loan for $3 or $4 million, based depending on, there's a bunch of other rules. You'll have to talk to our buddy down the street that does this, but we take out the life insurance policy because the buy-sell agreement states that in case I die, the company has first right of refusal to buy those shares back first, right? First, before any of the partners and anything. But it also states in there that we do an evaluation at the time of the death. And the time of the death, the valuation then pays the owner. So your wife, your significant other, is worth $3 million. We write her a check for $3 million. Now, there'll be some debate. Well, you got it for $4 million. I want all of it. No. That other $1 million, or whatever the number is, we have in place to protect the business, because now we have to go out and hire somebody to do your job that you left. So now we have the money in place to go out and hire, and not just for a year, because it takes time. Somebody with the skill of an owner, it takes time.
Oh, it's very hard to replace.
And again, we have some friends, that can go through this, but that's the basis of why you get life insurance, why you do a buy-sell agreement, and why you would have key man insurance on the business. Same thing. It's to protect the asset. So many times you forget to protect the asset and the business fails because it's like, well, I don't have any money to buy you out. There's no money here. Oh, great. Now we got to deal with this shit, right? Because it's not, look, they're really nice people and their family and all this, but it's like taking a nurse and throwing them into an operation of a manufacturing. Okay, learning curve, but it's the same thing. If you threw me in a nursing outfit, bend over, I can stick you with a pin. All right, I'll give you a shot. That's all I got. Here, let me plug the holes. Let me call 911. We're in a hospital, sir. Doesn't matter. I'm calling somebody for help. We don't know. You can't take that. Or a housewife. And please don't take that wrong. If you're a housewife, you run a multi-dimensional...
It's a hard job.
Oh, it is a hard job.
Man.
But running
Especially
a household is different than running a business. So there's just so many dynamics, but that's why you got to set them up correctly. So the instance I was telling you about. So family business, 3 brothers. 1 brother dies. Okay, we just went through it. There was a valuation done. The valuation was based on the value of the business today, not where it was 10 years ago, and it was less. So now it turns into a court case because the family believed that the value is more.
Yeah.
So, but the brother's dead, the husband's dead, regardless. So they go through all of this legal rigmarole, just a shit show. Okay, so they pay out what was legally owed by the judge. And then the next day, any of the family members that still worked in the business were terminated. And they were family members.
Wow.
Yeah. No shit. Wow. So those are real life things. Now let's throw another dynamic. So you and I own a business. I do dumb things. I end up divorced. I take care of my first wife, get that off the table, and then I get remarried. Now what happens?
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
It basically, when you have a partner and you are married, you got 2 wives.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's pretty much like another dynamic is I saw this, that business owners, one knows how to run it. The one that knows how to run it gets sick, and the other guy cannot fill it in. They don't have other resources. They got to run, and then the business goes down.
It is.
The guy came down with the cancer. They can't shut down the business, and the partner said, "Oh, I'm gonna step into it, but I got a daytime job. How I'm gonna run it?" And the business goes out.
And we see that. So then you have the other side of the coin too. Like I was just saying, that now the other partner gets remarried, and that remarried person has an opinion, and has opinion of what should happen and how it should happen and all this. And now all of a sudden, we know we're married. We listen to our wives. We take all of their information and
yes, ma'am.
On a good day. That's why she pushed you off that ladder.
I know.
To keep it up. He's got the marks to prove it.
I know.
But so now they have an opinion and they want all this other stuff and the sharing done. And now all of a sudden, now you have 2 partners fighting because what they agreed upon is not what has to happen right now. I've seen that too. Saw 2 best friends completely go sideways. They don't speak anymore.
Wow.
And because of all the shit that went on, it just was, it was something I never in my wildest dreams would I thought, because it became very vicious. Because at the end of the day, when you're protecting assets, remember, both parties have money involved, right? And when you're protecting the asset, yes, divorces are hard. I've never been through one. I've witnessed tons of them. But that is, what's the analogy one of my best friends told me? I choose to love my kids more than I hate my ex-wife. Let that sink in. When it comes to business partners, like, I choose to love the business more than I hate you, or do I just hate you a lot? And then, like, it ends up being so freaking ugly.
And you folks that you're listening or watching, we're not saying that you shouldn't have partner, but it's hard.
Oh.
It's hard. And you have to really calculate everything before you go in it. Especially, take a startups right now, dear Lord.
Oh my God!
Like the retail or restaurants are totally different. But when you go to other line of business, like coaching or, tech startup, it's hard. It gets complicated.
We did, before we entered into a business partnership, we did everything together for 8 months before. Named him the CEO, named the officers, ran the business as a single business
Demo.
for 8 months before we actually signed the agreement. And I want you to know,
Basically, you were dating.
we did date.
Yeah.
And you know what? You know how many hard conversations we had to have? Lots. Because guess what? My ego got in the way. Guess what? Their egos got in the way. Guess what? We didn't know how to talk to each other. Guess what? We had to be coached through it.
A lot of people do that, yeah.
Partnerships are great. I will promise you, if you can find the right partners,
Yes.
you can
It's like a marriage.
yeah, you can grow your business exponentially because you're playing to the strengths. But you got to do the due diligence. You got to set the business up with an operating agreement, with an LLC, with all of these stopgaps. So let's talk the poison pill for a second.
Yeah, that's interesting. Poison pill. You got to explain that.
Okay, so you remember
I never had that.
Okay, so but think about the old war movies, like the cyanide pills.
Oh, yeah, cyanide pills, yeah.
So poison pill is a clause in a business when one partner, so let's say you and I are partners, okay, and I'm pissed at you. And I say, so let's say our business is worth $1 million. Maybe I don't know so let's say it's worth $1 million. And I come to you and I go, Rami, I'm sick and tired of your shit. I will give you $500,000 tomorrow to walk away. Okay? Sounds reasonable. Usually leads to a fight. Our poison pill in our business is once I have stepped across that line and I have told you that I don't want you in the business and I want to buy your shares, all of my power is gone and now it's yours. You can take that information and you could turn around and go, you know what, Andy? Here's $500K, you're done. That's our poison pill. It is a clause put in place, and our attorney called it nuclear. I thought poison pill was cooler.
Is it something that you guys came up with, it, or is it like is a norm? Is a normal thing?
If this is a norm for those that know that business partnerships can get ugly, and it's a norm for those that want to make sure that if you're going to go that direction, it has to be the worst possible scenario. It's not going to be over broken thumbnails and coffee. It's got to be about something important. And we see so many businesses, they don't do that. Oh, it'll never come to this.
Yeah.
Great. I never want it to happen either. But guess what? At the end of the day, I want to protect my investment. And it also keeps me in check. The clause, the nuclear option, what poison pill, whatever you want, that's about me checking myself. Because I know if I launch that thing, any one of my 3 partners can come out and kick me in the nuts and it's done.
Yep.
And I'm out. I'm out for whatever I said.
It's a prevention, yeah.
So it's just, again, we probably spent as entities, 2 people, we probably spent 15 to 20 grand making sure this deal is right. So remember I talked about an accountant, attorney, a banker, and a coach. The reason we do that with an attorney is not because we want to pay them a bunch of money. It's because I want an asset that is profitable, commercial profitable, and enterprise that works without me, that I can sell someday, and it's protected.
And it's not only for you, it's for the other parties too.
Exactly.
If something happened to you, something happened to them, you want to have the right system in place that you can go and refer to and say, oh, we have this clause, we have this, therefore we can do this. And you just go blindfolded. Oh my God, that's a nightmare.
Well, and a
lot of people do that.
Husbands and wives, fathers, sons, they do that shit all the time. Well, I don't need that in my business.
Have you heard this? You file your LLC with some online companies, and then generate your operating agreement, send it to you. as part of your package, they register your LLC, they send that operating agreement, and some people, they don't even look at it. Is it like a generic? And then they go, oh, we have an operating agreement. No, did you read it? What is it? It doesn't even apply to you. It's so funny.
I do not. There are certain things. I buy a ton of stuff online. I watch a lot of stuff. I don't watch the news. But what I don't do doctors online. I don't. I know WebMD. There's some companies here that do a really good job of it, but that's still trust. I don't do attorney shit by Google.
Like
I don't do it.
You get it online, so open your mouth.
Yeah.
And
Well, but
what you see, okay, that's
so
good, but it's
so
not-
think about this for a second. I know everybody can fill out paperwork. Okay, I can fill out paperwork. When I'm sitting in a lawyer's office or I have to do them, I know they have to follow. The United States Bar Association has strict rules. So if my shit's not correctly, I know who to go see. I know exactly who to go talk to. When you're online, if something isn't written correctly or done correctly, good luck. I mean, figure that out. There's several, like there's a really good, our business attorney, Jim. He's a phenomenal attorney. He was Dell general counsel. He is a no bullshit. He's the polar opposite of me, so he's nice. But we had him do all of the stuff for us because we wanted to make sure it's again not just legal but law binding. It's got to protect everybody. I mean, DMH has a family. Tanner has a family. Jody and I have a family, which includes Tanner. There's a lot of people, our employees. Partnerships, and that's the saddest thing that I see that I've ever seen is when two partners divorce, disagree, break up, have a shitty one, and you got a bunch of employees.
Oh,
they take sides.
They get collateral damage.
And that's a great they are. Yeah. They are just because now.
And it's not their fault.
No, Wes may like you, Blake may like me. Neither one of them knows if I'm going to be in or out. Or you're going to be in or out, but they're just like, let's roll the dice with them.
Because I always say before you go to any partnership, any form of partnership, you really have to think carefully because your decision, your actions is going to affect so many people around you.
Absolutely.
Especially in business. As bigger, as worse.
Oh, exactly.
As business gets bigger, as worse. Like, Jeff Bezos, got divorced. His wife made $70 billion or whatever. It didn't really. They say it didn't hurt Amazon, but in some little things did. But they calculate everything differently. But that's a big dog. That
is a big dog.
Well, when you come to smaller business, mom and pop shops, cousins, they start a business. Two friends. It
kills your team.
It really kills it.
Because you have all that drama.
It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, can you imagine? I mean, I always use the term clarity kills drama. But man, you can't kill that night train of people just talking about, oh my God, did you see what Andy did? Did you see what Ramin did?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, man, by the next day, you've done things you didn't even know that were possible because they start talking.
You heard that when parents, they have a disagreement or they're going to argue, don't do it in front of the kids. Go to the other room. Me and my business partner, we always in the office, closed doors.
Wait, you said the bar earlier.
Yeah. We didn't go on the front of the staff in the dining room in the bar area or in the kitchen. We said let's go chat. We'll go in the office, and then with the standalone office, we were going over there and talk about the issues. And the staff, they didn't know what the heck is going on. It's just so important that the way you operate is going to affect so many people along the way.
I was a consultant for that company with the three brothers for 12 years, and it always cracked me up. They would have the meetings at the office, and then they would meet every morning for coffee, and then they would it was a 2 out of 3. They'd make other decisions, or they'd reverse the decision they made the day before, which always cracked us up. But when they were all alive, they were much stronger as a team. Yeah, they were brothers, but they were much stronger as a partnership because every day they cleared the air. every morning. No bullshit. They didn't.
That's a great way to look at it.
Yeah, you gotta have those meetings. You gotta have those partnership meetings. So many times they're forgotten. So we're in our first year of this partnership. Well, we're in the second year of this partnership. First year of the fully signed documents and all that. We have a team leadership meeting every Thursday. Every Thursday. Regardless of date, time, everybody has it on their calendar. You want to know why? Clarity kills drama. Let's get it out in the open. Let's talk about all the stuff. Let's talk about finances. Let's talk about where my gaps are, where their gaps are. Business partners forget that portion of it. They forget that, well, if we need a meeting, we'll have one. Well, by the time you get to the meeting, there's all these things that have built up.
Do you do this with your wife too?
Yeah, she's in that meeting.
No, in your personal life.
Oh, we talk all the time. Jody and I spend an enormous, literally, I have friends, but like literally, she's my best friend and only friend.
He said it publicly. I got him, Jody.
But we do everything together. We spend a lot of time when we travel, like by Jeep or by RV, and we talk about a lot of things.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
My mom and dad never said shit. Like, you would never ever know that they were mad at each other.
How you end up doing that?
I don't know.
Really?
I'm the polar opposite of both my parents. Let's just be honest.
Gardener? No.
Yeah. If I didn't look just like my dad with my triple chin, you would be different. But like I always joke, when I met Jody's mom and dad, they still work together. Okay. I swear to God, for the first 6 months that I knew Jody, I thought her dad's name was Asshole.
Oh my God.
God, I don't think she ever called him Ron. Like, I'm like, does he have a name? Like, I mean, really, because they always bickered, but they loved each other dearly. They love each other dearly, right? So I believe that I'll do a few parting thoughts. I believe that all partnerships can work with clear and concise and repeatable meetings weekly, if not monthly, to make sure that the business is on track.
This is the must. I totally 100% agree with it. And then, I see so many startups right now. We're in Austin, Texas.
Oh my gosh.
You see technology startups popping up everywhere. And they're coming from the other states. But if you are a startup founder and you are a programmer, you're not good with a number, go find a partner that is good in the financial. If you are a UI UX designer and you don't know any programming, your product, your services rely on that, just go get the opposite. Always surround yourself with the people that know more than you, especially in the tech environment.
Oh, these
because
guys,
it's totally different with the pop and mom shops and all that stuff. It really diversity and helping each other and be accountable and be open and help each other and believing one another that you can do that job. It's so important.
Yeah, and the thing is most people don't think like you and I do. We help each other and work together, and
because they have a problem asking for help.
Oh, they have a problem.
I'm serious. I don't know what the heck is that. I'm serious. I see so many people.
I agree with you.
There's people, they don't ask for help. I ask you for help many times. You pick my brain on some stuff. I
pick your brain all the time. You just don't know it.
Yeah, it's just so weird why these people, is it really ego? Is it really, if you're a partner and you can't ask your partner for help, even if he's not involved, or just, hey buddy, can you sit down? I'm going through this. What kind of partnership is that?
Well, here's a great analogy that Jody and I use, and I use this in business with my partners. It's 3 questions. When you come to me and ask me something in business and I know it's weighing on you, I ask these questions. Do you need me to fix it? Do you need me to respond? Or do you need me just to sit here and shut the blank up? That conversation allows for me, my partners, my wife, to just vent. So many times we want to fix something, and sometimes we just need to bounce things off people. But a lot of times I need you to vent. Okay, great. And then they'll vent, and they'll be like, and what are your thoughts? You told me to sit here and hush. we joke about it a little bit, but that's a great question to ask your partner and go, because sometimes you don't need my help. You just need to get it out of your mind so you can formulate a response.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. It happened to me many, many, many times. And you need to get out of that, you got to get it out of your brain and just put it on the table and talk about it. That's all it is. And after a while, the solutions will come into you. But we're getting close to the end.
Yes, we are.
But partnerships,
go ahead.
It's hard, but I still believe it's doable based on what Andy said and I said. Just be smart.
Oh, yeah.
And be open and make a right decision. No marriage is guaranteed. No partnership is guaranteed. But at least if you do something and then you have that foundation, I think it's worth it.
It's absolutely worth it. I agree.
At least you learn something when you walk out of that partnership.
Yeah, they're all worth it. Look, I'm going to say it again. We were built on the backs of entrepreneurs. Okay, now I know there's somebody out there who would love to put a lot of other words in my mouth after that one. It was built on business owners, and I don't care.
No, this country is built by, this country is backed by small businesses.
Absolutely.
I 100% agree to that.
They make the world go round daily. So keep it up. Keep doing it. Call us, question us, stop us on the road.
Anything.
Ask us. For those of you that want to put in a comment or want to ask us or have a subject that's bothering you,
let us know.
Let us know. Reach out to us. We have this on Spotify. It's on Apple. It's on YouTube. That's where we got
Anchor.
So, let us know.
Yeah, go to YouTube, and if you like this video, please
send it to your friends.
Yeah, send it to your friend. Give us a thumbs up, like it, share it, because at the end of the day, we all can help each other. Maybe this episode, this podcast helps somebody that is going to have a partnership, and at least they'll learn something based on our experiences.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you very much, everybody.
Rami,
thank you for the open and honest conversation, brother.
Thank you. Until next time, folks, have a great day.